Happy International Women's Day. Today is a tremendous holiday and opportunity to be able to spotlight pioneering women who continue to carry the torch as innovators and mold breakers for women across all industries, in sports and beyond. We at the Erie Otters are so thrilled and honored to work alongside Erie Women's Empowerment for our third annual Women's Empowerment webinar here on International Women's Day. This is a tremendous opportunity for us to be able to spotlight women here in Erie, all across the country, and in the sport of hockey, in what they are doing to continue to build the next generation of women, to continue to push the mold, push the envelope, and break through glass ceilings. Erie Women's Empowerment is a tremendous new nonprofit organization built by Erie women for Erie women, with the idea of empowering all women across all industry to become not only their best self, but to help other women achieve and push past what they previously believed to be opportunity for themselves. We are so excited as well that Erie Women's Empowerment was founded and created not just by an Otters season ticket member and billet family member, but a tremendous Otter fan in Amy Conway. Amy opens up our message on what today means for her and for all women.
My name is Amy Conway. I am the president and executive director of Erie Women's Empowerment. I started this nonprofit last year after years of volunteering and seeing all of the great things that nonprofits were doing here in Erie, and felt compelled to be able to help as well. When I started Erie Women's Empowerment, it was actually my attorney had said, well, you need 3 other people to be part of your board. You need your vice president, a secretary, and treasurer. And I'm like, where am I going to find 3 people who are crazy enough to take this ride with me? And much to my delight, the more that I spoke about Erie Women's Empowerment and creating a community of women to really be cheerleaders and collaborate with each other and speak highly of each other in rooms that we're not in to try and all strive together, I was so pleased to see so much enthusiasm to the point where I needed to start holding interviews for board positions. And at that point, that is when I made a wish list of who I would like to really represent my nonprofit. And on that list, I wanted to ensure that we had women with no degrees, women with PhDs, women who came from money, women who came from no money. I wanted a third of the board to be women of color. I wanted someone who was bilingual. I wanted an immigrant. I wanted a woman with a disability. I wanted all these different perspectives to ensure that we have the representation to help all of the diverse women in Erie. And I was pleased that we got everything that we were looking for on our board, and ended up capping our board at 9. I now have this dynamic group of women who have all of these different backgrounds to be able to support. And this year is going to be especially exciting with planning speakers who have their roots or some sort of connection to Erie, who are doing just great things out in the world. We also are going to have volunteer opportunities, collaborating with other women-focused nonprofits to be able to make impactful change around Erie. Also, we will be holding workshops to really help develop skills for women. But our signature program that we will be launching is a mentorship program to really help early career women connect with middle and senior level career women. But also, I think that when we're thinking about careers, we also have women who are now empty nesters, and maybe they've been out of the career realm for a while and are just getting back into the swing of things and need that connection again. We need to be sure that we are also thinking about those women. There's so many different traits that make us strong, including stay-at-home moms who might be looking to get back into the workforce. and they sometimes just need help to get back into, that network. That's what we're really looking to do. I personally came from very humble beginnings, growing up in poverty on a dirt road, and thinking about being a professional was never really on the radar. That wasn't really the route that my family had gone. So it wasn't really what I was thinking about at that time. However, I was fortunate enough to be able to experience Business Week from a nonprofit called ACES that really showed me that I really enjoyed marketing and advertising, public relations, and that was the route that I took. Once I did that and I got a little bit of experience, I ended up finding out that I was pretty good at it. And in a change of pace, I ended up in banking and in the finance world, and have now found myself also in event planning with banking. And I am very fortunate to have landed this wonderful role that I have. But I often wondered if I had a different upbringing, or if I had a mentor who had maybe seen that type of adversity that I did growing up. I wonder if I had gotten there a bit quicker. Wishing that I had, that strong woman leader to just be able to encourage me to get there. And that's really what Erie Women's Empowerment is going to do. And if I had a piece of advice for women who are maybe thinking that they need a career change, or just feel stuck at the level that they are and that they can't move up the ladder in their current career, or maybe just looking to re-enter the workforce after a period of being off, it's that I think that society has this idea that we need to hit certain milestones by certain ages, or certain times, or you have to accomplish certain things in your life in order to be deemed successful. That is just not true. That is a fantasy. And I think so many women, when they start looking back on their accomplishments, just wish that they could tell their younger selves, you're going to be okay. Things are going to work out. If you have grit, if you believe in yourself, if you have that confidence, really everything is possible. There is nothing stopping you. And what we will do at EWE is really just giving you those connections so that you have that support while you're on that journey. We have gone on this journey too, and want to just help the women of Erie to be able to create, the financial stability that they dream of. And whether that is just moving up in their current career, or if it is moving on to a different career. And there are so many different connections to different industries here in Erie. And we really want to celebrate also the women who are trailblazers, who are working in industries that they may be the minority. That is not a role that is typically held by women. They are really breaking those glass ceilings for us, and we want to celebrate alongside of them. The 3 C's of Erie Women's Empowerment is collaborate, cultivate, celebrate. That is who we are and what we want to do. And I really thank the Erie Otters for giving us this opportunity to have the soundboard, to be able to thank those women who really are so brave to really walk this first, and also to really spotlight on the great things that women in Erie are doing. So thank you so much, and continue to lead, Queens.
Erie Women's Empowerment is built not just by Amy, but by so many women across so many different industries here in Erie. And a tremendous board of representatives and board of directors will be joining us for our Women's Empowerment Night game presented by Erie Women's Empowerment on March 13th. Here's more of their stories of how they got to be with EWE.
Hi, my name is Mioduszewski. I'm an occupational therapist and the owner of Niagara Therapy. I was born and raised in Erie, Pennsylvania. My professional journey began in 2000 when I graduated with my Master's of Science in Occupational Therapy. I returned to Erie and worked at numerous different settings, developing experience through 2000 to 2008. As fate took over in 2008, I stepped up to the role as an entrepreneur and created Niagara Therapy. Niagara Therapy is currently located on West 8th Street across from the Colony Plaza in Mill Creek Township. We are proud and excited to offer Erie community a premier therapy option. We offer occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech-language pathology with a specialty in the neurological population. We are passionate about working with adults and children by offering unique and individual plans of care to meet everyone's needs. We hope to put the wind in your sails. Being a woman-owned business, there are inherent challenges, but also inherent advantages. These days are full of opportunities and challenges. Sometimes the to-do list is never ending and you're regularly pressed with situations that push all of your personal and professional boundaries. If you're just starting out, I would remember to control what you can manage. You always have to put one foot in front of the other and take one step at a time. Eventually you'll make it through. You have to start somewhere. The advice that I would also offer to someone considering entrepreneurialism or management is to know your team. Having a great team could include the right accountant, the right lawyer, especially the staff that you have in your company. You can't know everything, so having your resources and knowing how to use them is critical. Another invaluable recommendation is to build your support systems. Gather people like you and people that will support you. This could include accountability partners, experts in your field, or just another business owner that can say, yeah, I've been there. It's always a healthy decision to ask for advice and insights if you're not sure of a project or unsure how to proceed. Women offer a unique perspective as managers and entrepreneurs in today's business world. As a board member for the Erie Women Empowerment, my goal is to foster women and girls to explore healthcare administration as well as health and science fields. Women have unique attributes that make us ideal candidates for areas of professional and development and engagement. My unique role in the board for Erie Women Empowerment is to represent women-owned business and women in healthcare for the significant values that they offer.
Hello, I'm Luisa, and I'm a board member of Erie Women's Empowerment. I am a Human Resources Director in the Erie area, and I've been asked to share what has been my journey that led me to my current role. I will tell you that it was not planned. My undergraduate degree is not in human resources. I started by being an employer liaison at what was then the Hispanic American Council, and my duties included developing resumes for our clients, as well as some job coaching, interview skills. I went with them as an interpreter for interviews, as well as the unemployment office. From there, I became self-employed interpreter, translator for a few years, but along the way I had done some temporary work with agencies, and I would meet the branch managers and their recruiters, and one day one of the branch managers was hired to become the HR director at the casino when it was being built. And she called me and said, hey, how would you like to come work with me as the recruiter? Knowing nothing about recruiting, knowing nothing, I'm like, sure, I'm up for the challenge. And shortly thereafter, I became a generalist. And then when she left a few years later, I was promoted to the director position. And that was really the beginning of my journey. I learned a lot with her. She was a good manager. She was a good mentor. She was very supportive. She asked that I join professional organizations. She made one of my performance goals to get my PHR, which is a professional in human resources. She taught me a lot, what to do and what not to do. When I got into her role, then the then general manager said to me, hey, if you need to go back to school, go ahead. We're supporting you for this. And that has been my journey, having the support and the encouragement of managers, both direct managers as well as those I work with that encouraged me, supported me, and knew what I was capable of doing and learning. So after that, throughout the years, I've had different roles as HR manager and HR director, and I ultimately got my master's degree in professional studies, and that's what assisted me in landing my current position. Because the reality is, the human resources field has changed so much that in order to be an HR director, and in some cities even an HR manager, you need a master's degree. So that would be one advice I would give the next generation of human resources professional is please get further education like a master's if you aspire to be a director or even a VP of HR. What does empowerment mean to me? Women's empowerment means for the woman to have the ability to take control, to be in control of her choices and her decisions, because in doing so, she would be able to redefine her role and level the playing field, be it in her career or in her family dynamics. One thing my mother used to always say when I was growing up, she would say, estudies para que no tenga que depender de un hombre. And that is study so you don't have to depend on a man. In hindsight, I think, wow, how empowering is that to tell your daughter that? Study, go to school so you don't have to be dependent, And, I've also been asked, what advice would you give to an up-and-coming professional woman? And as I said before, is study, be empowered, but also make a female professional friend or two, someone who's already experienced, because that person will be able to help you, to guide you, to share their experiences with you. They might even become an official mentor, but also get a friend or two who's about equal in your level of skill set and in your professional field, because that person then could become a sounding board. You share experiences and also a motivator. And I think that's really important. I did not have that in my journey, but I wish I did. With that said, I will leave with you with the second thing my mother always told me. She would say, dime con quien andas y te diré quién eres, which is tell me who you walk with and I tell you who you are. Therefore, I tell you, walk with other women who will support you, who will lift you, who will cheer you on, and celebrate you. Erie Women's Empowerment wants to do that for our community, and I am so very proud to be a member of that wonderful group of women.
Outside of those who are actively engaged alongside Erie Women's Empowerment, there are tremendous women making worlds of difference here for so many all across Erie County. We've been so lucky this year to work alongside one of those tremendous organizations who are continuing to create opportunity for all, and especially for women, at Erie County Community College of Pennsylvania. Elise Michaux is the Director of Marketing at EC3 and shares her story not just as a woman, but as a woman of color.
My name is Elise Michaux. I'm the Marketing and Communications Director at Erie County Community College. You might recognize my voice because my job is to get us on the radio, get us on TV, as well as take care of our website and help tout the programs and events that we have going on so we can enroll new students and get them excited about everything that Erie County Community College, or for short, EC3, has to offer. The journey in finding myself in this role has been absolutely phenomenal. I say I use my voice because I've had to find my voice in this. Having a bit of a non-traditional background in marketing and communications, I've really begun to hone my skills in this area. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to do that for so many people who thought that college wasn't something that they were going to be able to do. And so being able to help write the story for EC3, as well as write the story for our incoming students and our students who end up inevitably graduating and telling their stories, has been a phenomenal honor and privilege. When I think of women's empowerment, I think of the folks who have helped me, the women who have helped me to climb and be the person that I am today, from my mom to professors and other mentors that I've had in my life who daily deposit into me and have helped me to refine my skills and remind me of who I am and what I can do. And so when I think of women's empowerment, I think of always having the opportunity to reach back and help others like those so many before me have done for me. It is so important that women see faces that look like theirs in the different industries, especially for this up-and-coming generation. Why? Because you recognize then that you can do it too. When you see faces that look like yours in spaces that you might not traditionally, it means that it's possible. It becomes real. And so when I think about, even as the marketing and communications director, being in this role, there's not a lot of folks who look like me. And so I understand there's probably people who are looking up to me that I may not even know. And it's making a difference just by existing and being. So that's a powerful thing, and I don't take that for granted or take it lightly. My advice for up-and-coming and professional women is to take on the challenges. Say yes to some things that may be outside of your comfort zone. Why? Because you will find yourself in those spaces. You will grow. You will connect with people you might not have otherwise. And our challenges, like I've said before, make us better, refine us. Iron sharpens iron. And if you want to be great, you got to do things that you might not have otherwise. So say yes to even the scary things and watch the greatness unfold. I have faced many challenges as a woman of color, as a queer woman, but I'm grateful for those challenges. It truly has made me who I am. Sometimes we look at the mountains that we have to climb as just things that we want to avoid, but we don't get to avoid the mountains. The mountains make us better, because by the time we get to the top and then over, we are that much stronger and wiser, and it gets us to where we want to inevitably be. So without the mountains, we wouldn't get to where we're going. So I'm grateful for every challenge that I face, and reframing it that way. Sometimes it's easier said than done, I will admit, but I'm grateful for that. To every woman who might see this, I wish you the best in every step of your journey. Keep on keeping on.
2024 has been an incredible year for women in sport. The advent of the Professional Women's Hockey League, a first of its kind major league level of women's hockey, has exploded women's sports onto the scene. But with tremendous legacy leagues like the WNBA, who have been building the foundation for so many years, women in sport has never been a bigger discussion point than it has been this year. And as we see the ripple effect with women being included in Major League Baseball games and so many other sports realms, it is incredible to see the progress that we've made, but to know that there is still so much progress to go. As we talk about the next generation of women in sport, we look back at some women who interned here with the Erie Otters and now find themselves in the major league level doing tremendous things. Starting off with former Otter community relations intern, Sarah Jane Lasley.
My name is Sarah Jane Lasley, and I am a seasonal assistant for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I work in the Social Impact and Equity Department, but more specifically within community relations. In my job, my main priorities are sending out and processing donations of Cavs merchandise and autographs to local nonprofits, working with our educational program director to build literacy initiatives for Cleveland schools to use in their classrooms, and running our 50-50 raffle on game days. Frequently, though, I am tapped in to help with other projects since the sports world is unpredictable, and working within it requires a lot of flexibility and openness to change. In my time with the Cavaliers, I've learned so much about what it takes to work in sports. I joined the Cavs in September of 2023 after graduating from Clemson University with a degree in sports communication. I've always known that I wanted to work in sports. I grew up as the only girl in my generation in my family in Texas, where sports reign supreme and men are the ones expected to know the most about them. My brother, cousins, and the rest of my family luckily never bought into that idea, so I got the best of both worlds, being exposed to sport at an early age, but never believing that I didn't belong in that conversation. I wrote for my high school newspaper and became the editor of the sports section, and when it came time for college applications, I only applied to schools that had a program that involved sports to some extent. And I'm so glad and so grateful that I spent my college career as a Clemson Tiger. During my summers in college, I interned at any sports-related company that would have me. In the summer of 2021, I interned in my hometown of Houston with an adult recreational sports league. It was hot and humid, but a lot of fun. In the summer of 2022, though, is when I interned with the Erie Otters in community relations. That summer, I learned an invaluable amount about working in sports and specifically within the community. I really enjoyed my summer with the Otters, and when I saw a community relations position at the Cavs open up, I knew I had to apply. And after 3 rounds of interviews, I was offered the job. That's not to say that it's been all sunshine and rainbows. Throughout my time at Clemson, I was routinely involved in conversations with my peers about women in sports that were not very fun and very oftentimes frustrating. In my professional career, though, I've been fortunate enough to work for 2 very supportive organizations who have never once made me feel like an outsider because of my gender or gender expression, and I know I'm among the lucky few in that regard. I could talk about what it means to be a woman in sport for hours, but what I find myself harping on most is this. I don't want to be seen as a capital W, capital I, capital S woman in sport. To me, I'm just someone who grew up around the games and saw myself as a natural fit in the industry. I love the camaraderie that sports provide. I love that unlike anything else, sport can unite people who have absolutely nothing in common other than the colors they wear on football Sunday. I find it increasingly ironic that in an industry that can provide so much solace and unity for its fans, there's still such a lack of support and representation behind the scenes, whether that be for women, for members of the LGBTQIA+ community, or any other traditionally marginalized group. Sports are a great way to kick back and relax, take a break from reality, but they also are, in my opinion, the greatest tool we have to enhance that reality and enhance our relationships with each other. As I said before, I consider myself lucky to be able to speak proudly as a woman in sport, but I wish I didn't have to speak on it at all. I didn't come into this industry, into this role with the platform in mind. I came into it as a kid who loved watching Astros games, controversial, I know, and playing pickup touch football in the front yard with my family. I'm honored to be where I am, and I'm so grateful for those who've gotten me here. That being said, there's a lot of work still to be done. For the people who want to help, watch women's sports. Support the women around you when they insert themselves in the conversation. Show us that we belong so that more girls and women can join the industry without feeling like being a woman in sport is a rare title to boast. And for the women, boast that title now. Wear it loud and proud until it becomes normal, as it eventually should. Surround yourself with people who care and people who believe in you. Find your sisterhood in this space and hang on tight. It's a wild ride, but it's so worth it. And remember to have fun along the way. That's the whole point of sports anyway.
Especially in the sport of hockey, it is a tremendous time to continue to push the envelope and continue to redefine what women in sport means. Another tremendous intern of ours, Alexis Waltz, is doing great things down in the Three Rivers city of Pittsburgh with the Penguins.
I'm Lexie. I'm currently an inside sales representative with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and previously I was doing production with the Erie Otters for 2 seasons. I graduated in May of 2022 from Slippery Rock University with a degree in sport management and a minor in communications. I did my senior internship with the Erie Otters actually doing production, and that was my main goal, was to go into some sort of production or communications when I graduated. But after I left Erie, I found myself doing a sales role with the Pittsburgh Penguins. I never thought that I would be in sales, but I'm so glad that I'm here and doing this program, just because I've been able to learn so much. And even though I'm not in production right now, I'm still just, growing and learning throughout my career. The biggest challenge that I've probably faced being a woman in the sport industry actually goes back to when I was still in high school. And it's kind of a problem that, a challenge that you have to continue to overcome. And it's just not being taken seriously by other people, like your peers or, in your sphere. When I was doing sports writing in high school, I was constantly being questioned about how do I know the things that I'm writing about? Someone else has to be telling me them. I would be questioned about who the entire roster is and how many points do they have. And these were things I knew just because I was really dedicated to the sport and, my writing. But I found that I was answering these questions for validity versus them being actually asked to me genuinely. So I quickly learned to just kind of ignore that, push it to the side, and that's not something that I need to answer to prove myself to anybody else. I think that the Otters using their platform to showcase other women in sports is really vital to women and girls who are growing up in the sport industry right now. I know when I was younger, I didn't really have other women in the sporting industry to look up to, either as a player or even just going into sports as a professional. There was no one for me to look up to and no one being showcased, for example, during a game or anything like that. So the fact that the Otters are supporting, International Women's Month and putting out these messages is really vital to the women and girls who are growing up right now. The advice that I have for up-and-coming women in the sport industry is just to know that you belong and you don't need to prove yourself to anybody else. You've done the work to get there and you know it inside yourself that you belong here, and you just need to know to not have to prove yourself to everybody else that you belong where you're at and to just keep moving on.
For the Erie Otters, we have long time been an organization built by the foundation of strong, empowered women who continue to lead and redefine what it means to be an organization here in Erie. We are so thankful for the contributions for so many seasons of Darcy Chabola, our merchandise manager, and Haleigh Giebel, our digital marketing manager and partnerships activations coordinator.
So I am Darcy Chabola. My roles include merchandise manager, senior attention manager, and billet coordinator. I started out as an intern, just kind of doing what was ever needed of me in the office and game nights. From there, I was hired on full-time, so I had a job lined up in my field right after graduation. Very lucky and blessed for that. From there, I've just kind of worked my way up the rankings. Started as office manager, rolled into a little bit of ticketing, added on the merch, back to ticketing, added on billets, whatever is needed of me, really. Women's empowerment means that there is not a stigma on gender roles. It is coming in, doing your work to the best of your ability, no matter what industry, no matter what standard was set beforehand, and just kind of making it your own. I think it's super important for the next generation of women. Seeing us in this role, kind of breaking the standards, not holding back, letting our voices be heard. So hopefully that the girls growing up can see us here and it would be even less of a topic in the future for good reasons. So anyone up and coming wanting to break into the sports or even any other male-dominated industry, just get it out of your head. Don't think of it as a hindering factor. Think of it as you're the minority, but you're bringing a lot more to the table than has been here beforehand. So don't let it hold you back. Like, there's definitely a role here for anyone, so just go after it. Luckily, I have not had to face any challenges. I entered this organization with 2 other women in high positions and have not let it hold me back. I've been able to follow in their footsteps and kind of just ride out my own journey here, regardless of my role, regardless of my gender. There's plenty of women that come to sports, no matter their age, so why can't there be women behind the scenes as well?
Hi, my name is Hal Giel. I'm in my 3rd year as the Digital Marketing and Partnership Activations Manager here with the Erie Otters. Ever since I was a little girl, I knew I wanted to work in sports. I didn't really have the opportunity to get into the sports world until college. And when I was at Mercyhurst, I worked with both Division I hockey teams there. Kind of broadened my horizon, gave me some connections, and I was able to find a position here with the Erie Otters and just continue to grow each day. Women empowerment to me just means giving equal opportunity to everyone. I know I've heard some stories of women trying to get into the sport industry or even just volunteering in the sport industry, and it's been tough for them. Luckily enough, I haven't had that experience. I've been able to just work in the sport industry with some great leaders, female and male, that have just given me the opportunities to grow not only as a person, but also as a professional. I think the discussion of women in not only sports industry but all industries is really important. As we can see right now with the PWHL, it's giving girls the opportunity to inspire to be bigger and better things as they grow up, and I think that's really important. My advice for all girls and women, no matter what profession you want to be in, is just to dream big and go out and achieve your goals. Don't let anyone set you back. And the people that do try to set you back, let them be your biggest motivators.
The Ontario Hockey League has been a league that for so long has been at the forefront of continuing to create opportunity for women in sport. And as we look around the Ontario Hockey League, we look at women who are serving in so many different roles, doing so many tremendous things, and we share their story.
Hi there, my name's Lindsay Eastwood. I'm the manager of communications and team services for the Kitchener Rangers Hockey Club in the OHL. I started this position in August after I actually hung up the skates myself and went into retirement to take the next step in my off-ice career. So it's been a brief stint in this position. I've learned a ton and used some of my previous experience along the way. So I've grew up playing hockey all my life, ever since I was 6 years old. I am from Ottawa, Ontario originally, so grew up there and eventually went on to get a scholarship at Syracuse University, where I spent 5 years. I got my undergrad in a bachelor's of communications and rhetorical studies with a minor in sports management. And then I was granted a fifth year from taking a red shirt. So I did my master's in television, radio, film production in the School of Newhouse School of Public Communications. And that was kind of my the whole reason I went to Syracuse in the first place, and why I chose there to was because of their journalism program. I always thought I wanted to be on TV, and maybe one day still. But so that kind of felt like the best route for me at the time. So from there, once I graduated from Syracuse in 2020, I went on to play professional hockey for the Toronto Six in the Premier Hockey Federation for 3 seasons, which leads me to here with the Rangers this season. So while I was playing hockey, I actually I had to work. We weren't making quite enough money to just play hockey, where now the ladies are, which is awesome. In my last season, I was able to just work part-time. So while I was playing my first season, I worked for Critical Mass, which is a digital marketing agency, and I was a producer there. So basically a project manager for overseeing some projects, and really took away. That job has really helped me on the team services side of things. So in my team services role, I book all the hotels, meals, buses, make the players' itineraries, calendars for the month, all that stuff, and coordinate that stuff. So working with people's timelines, budgets, all that stuff, I did that at Critical Mass. So it's really helped me in my role, my team services role here with Kitchener. And then I went on to be the social media manager for this program called the Ford Fanatic, which was ran by Ford and also a marketing agency, which I was hired by. And we managed the partnership between Ford and the Toronto Maple Leafs. So they had 150 tickets to give away to every Leafs home game. So it was wicked. I got to go to all those and host all these people and pick who got to go to the games. So it's awesome, while running the social media accounts and running contests and all that. So that gave me kind of helped me with my communication side of the job. In the communications role with Kitchener, I do some social media work. I do the day-to-day socials. We have a big team here that helps with that. There's about 3 people that help with the social media. So that's my role, is the day-to-day, so live tweeting, Instagram stories, anything that kind of happens here and there. And then also writing like press releases and managing media inquiries for our media relations with the players and the coaches and all that stuff. And then in my final season with the Six, I work part-time at Sportsnet as an associate producer on the show Sportsnet Central, which is like the highlight show for Sportsnet, which kind of tied it all together at the end of the day. I got to do some digital work and some video work and use my creative brain, which is a lot of fun. But then this opportunity with the Rangers opened up, and have never looked back. And what's neat about this role is I'm on both sides of the hockey and the business. It's not a lot of roles that are like that. There's usually you're just either on the hockey or the business. So I'm kind of that tie between, and I help out, and I know the players' schedules like the back of my hand, so I can help with community relations stuff like that, getting players for school visits and all that good stuff, and so on. And I've also the first woman that Kitchener has hired on the hockey side of things. We have a ton of, like, a few women here in the office on the business side, but so that was definitely a change for the whole organization, and it's been awesome to step in and see how it's all playing out and how it's all working out. And so this leads me to the next aspect of my chat here. So what does women empowerment mean to me? So I guess what it means is giving women the power and the opportunities to thrive in all aspects of life. It's about breaking down those barriers that hold you back, and ensuring that women have equal rights, they have access to education, jobs, leadership roles, etc., and the ability to move up. I think that's super important, and I think we're seeing that change in the world the last since I've entered the workforce, at least. That's what I can say. So it's also about supporting and celebrating women's success and achievements and promoting, like I said, promoting them. And so I think it's sometimes they don't get the pat on the back, but I think it's cool to see and cheer other ladies on, and and then just promote a culture of equality and solidarity amongst women. So I guess how the importance of discussing and spotlighting women in different industries in this for the next generation. I think the importance of this is, some industries are still male dominated, and hockey is definitely one of them on the male hockey side. So they say if you can see it, you can dream it, and so I think that just kind of helps inspire the next generation to find their place in the world and knowing that they can do it, whatever they put their mind to. So it's kind of like paving the way. I think it's awesome. And some advice that I have here for up-and-coming professional women, no matter what industry you're going into, my biggest piece of advice is never say no. Doesn't matter how insignificant the job is that they're asking you to do, never say no. That'll help you down the road, and it's good to fill your toolbox with as many tools as you can, and have many different skills you can lean on. Work your hardest. Hard work doesn't go unnoticed, and cherish the relationships you make along the way, because you never know who you can help one day or they can help you. Thank you, and all the best.
We would be remiss not to share the story of players who were involved with the explosion of the excitement of women's hockey here in the USA and Canada.
Hi, my name is Alexis Vasco. I'm 25 years old from St. Catharines, Ontario, and I play for Toronto in the Professional Women's Hockey League. I spent my NCAA career at Mercyhurst University in Erie, including 3 as captain and winning 2 CHA championships. I started playing house league with the boys until transitioning to girls in Adam, playing Adam Double B. I played for the St. Catharines Chaos and Stony Creek Sabres until finally arriving at Mercyhurst for my freshman year. During that time, I also represented Canada at the U18 and U22 level. My freshman and junior year, we won the CHA championships, which were some of the best times at Mercyhurst and moments I'll remember for the rest of my life. COVID gave me another year of NCAA eligibility, so I decided to stay at Mercyhurst for my 5th year, which was one of the best decisions I've ever made. After my 5th year, I moved to Montreal to train and be a part of the PWHPA for 1 year until the PWHL was finally launched. I was fortunate enough to be drafted by Toronto this past September, and here we are today. In terms of being a trailblazer, I wouldn't really consider myself a trailblazer in women's hockey, as there have been so many women before us who have put in the work and gotten us to this point. But to be able to see the young girls, young boys, and everyday hockey fans pack the stands and sell out arenas has been something really special. I also think the media exposure we've been receiving has been incredible. I remember when I was younger, I knew on Saturday nights I'd be watching the Toronto Maple Leafs and didn't really know women's hockey existed because I just didn't see it. Now, viewers can just go home and throw on a PWHL game without having to look for an online stream, which I think is really cool and something none of us have ever experienced. Some advice for young girls in hockey and in life would be, if you can dream it, you can achieve it. Whether it has to do with sports, school, or your career, your work ethic allows your dreams to become a reality, whatever they may be. Erie holds a special place in my heart, as it was not only my home for 5 years, but it made me into the player and, more importantly, the person I am today. I'm grateful to be a part of the Women's Empowerment Night in Erie and excited to see the growth of women's hockey here. I'll forever be a Lakers fan, but tonight, go Otters, go.
Hi, my name is Gasone. I started to play hockey because of my two brothers. I played with boys my entire life, and this year it's my first year with girls hockey. It's really nice, it's really different, but it's also a different style of hockey, and I really love it so far. I know that a lot of women paved the way for me, like Charlene Labonté, Kim Saint-Pierre, Manon Réaume, and just following their steps is really nice for me, and I was just trying to play hockey in the best place possible. So just to be in their shoes was very nice for me. Charlene was one of my biggest role models. I had the chance to speak to her too, so that was pretty nice for me when I was younger. I would say to just help younger women to play hockey, and especially with the league right now, just helping them, it's something special for me. So if I receive messages from younger kids, I will respond, and it's really nice for me to help them. I would say to just work hard every time, especially when no one is looking, and you'll just build confidence, and you'll be better every day. And to stop comparing yourself to, just trying to be better, a better person and a better player every day. Just have fun too when you play hockey. Don't put too much pressure on yourself.
As our International Women's Day webinar comes to an end, we remind you that International Women's Day and International Women's Month is a tremendous opportunity to be able to spotlight and share the stories. However, the work in spotlighting and highlighting and being able to promote women in sport and women in all industries is a year-long endeavor and has to be a promise. It's not about just empowering women. It's about creating equality and equity for all those who continue to push, redefine, create, and mold opportunities, not just for themselves, but for the next generation. This is the work and the foundation of a tremendous organization like Erie Women's Empowerment, who works not just to create opportunity for women, but to be able to continue to push the narrative that women should be seen in all categories, in all industries, and in all places. And because of organizations like Erie Women's Empowerment and progressive leagues like the PWHL, the WNBA, the Ontario Hockey League, that women in sport continue to have opportunities that excel them to the next level and continue to create and redefine what it means to be not just a woman in sport, but a woman in all industries. We thank you for joining us on our International Women's Day webinar, proudly presented by Erie Women's Empowerment, and we hope to see you on March 13th for our Women's Empowerment Night presented by Erie Women's Empowerment. Celebrate today, and remember, it is a year-long promise to continue to promote the equality and equity of women in all industries. Thank you.